Welcome back. With businesses shutting down for almost a year and hundreds of thousands of residents out of work during that time, the pandemic created financial hardships throughout the city, especially for those living in the Bronx, which was hit the hardest. Joining us today to give us some tips on financial literacy is Jeffrey Almanzar, an accountant at Commission Tax ENT. Jeffrey, welcome. It has been a tough year, so I'm really excited to have you on. Just to start off, what are the major financial challenges you've seen residents struggling with during this past year?
Hi, Jericho. Thank you for having me on here again. And absolutely, there's been a total whirlwind with all the businesses, especially in the Bronx. A lot of the restaurants haven't been able to open property. A lot of the loans that a lot of people have been trying to get, into their bank account from the SBA and from the PPP has also been delayed. So a lot of people have been bootstrapping it, as they say, and trying to make the best out of what they can. The capacity that is allowed in restaurants is to a bare minimum, to the point where it's not even feasible for them to open up and make a profit. So it's definitely a difficult time. So the hospitality industry, the hotels, a lot of them have taken out their retirement funds, and a lot of people relocating to other states, moving to Florida and Texas. So it's a total exodus in all accounts. So it's definitely been a year to remember. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. In my 20 years in business, this has been by far the most that has ever happened in just 1 year. Obviously, also taking account the pandemic. But the way everyone has reacted to it has been really, really mind-boggling.
And what are some tips you have for residents who are looking for smarter ways to spend their money?
So right now, obviously, we don't know what the future holds with everything that's happening. So the best way to go about your money is to try to save as much money as you can. Obviously, when you have so much of an influx of, you have stimulus checks, you have unemployment, you have loans, you have a lot of money being injected into the economy. Unfortunately, the value of the dollar goes down. So a lot of the prices, instead of them coming down, they actually start coming up. So what you would pay for $5 for before is probably $6, $7 now. So, excuse me, supply and demand is definitely going in a different direction based on the needs of everyone. If you look at the housing market right now, they say that the interest rates are really low, but now the houses that were probably 170, 180 last year are going for 300, 320, which almost double in price. So I'm not saying it's a bad time to buy. I'm not saying it's a good time to buy. I say if you save the most money you can, you definitely have the upper hand, because, obviously with more cash in hand, you have better decisions to make. I would definitely steer away from spending money on unnecessary things that are not gonna make you money. I know the sneaker industry right now is going into the billions. It gets people just home with a lot more time to buy, the sneakers, and a lot of the resellers and all these people. But at the end of the day, in a pandemic, you really realize what's valuable. Your house, your toilet paper went in record sales. Water, things that people really really need to survive in life. So yeah, I would try to just invest in yourself. Learn a new skill.
So, we are in the middle of tax season. What are some tips you have for residents filing their taxes, especially those who filed for unemployment this year?
Sure. So with the IRS and the unemployment situation, there was a problem that the IRS had excluded the first $10,200 on on the unemployment benefits. So the state of New York, they decided that they were not going to do the same. So a lot of people are actually getting money back on their IRS taxes, but then from the state, they're gonna have to pay taxes on that money. So as far as them filing, I mean, at this point, all the laws and rules and regulation are in place, so you can still go ahead and file your tax return. You're probably at an advantage right now, in comparison to those that went ahead and filed super early, because a lot of these laws weren't even in place yet. They're saying that you're not supposed to file an amendment for your tax returns for the ones that you have already filed. So what they're going to do is that they're going to go ahead and recalculate your tax returns and then send you the difference. But there's still an issue with that because some people have kids, some people qualify for the earned income credit. So you have to go to a professional to figure out if the number that the IRS is going to recalculate for you is in fact the number that you're entitled to. So there might be a possibility that you might be entitled to more money. So you definitely want to go ahead and mid-year, I always like to do a mid-year review with all my clients to go over their tax year for the next coming year. But in this case, we'll be pretty much looking at the current year tax return and going back and seeing if there's any opportunities that we missed that we can go ahead and amend the tax return, to get them the best outcome possible with everything that happened this year.
Wow. And, with the pandemic stopping a lot of our day to day lives, what it didn't stop was the bills from piling up. So, what advice can you give to residents who are dealing with growing debt and also paying their bills? Does one take priority over the other? How do you pay both of them at the same time, especially when money is so tight right now?
Well, at the end of the day, your priority should be keeping your four walls up, right? You want to make sure that your living situation is where you keep a shelter for your children or your family and for yourself. So that needs to be first priority. A lot of these landlords, a lot of these business owners, a lot of these um, landowners, or if you live in a private home, the banks are giving the landlords and a lot of these business owners, like an extension of payment. So they also pass laws within the state that does not allow anyone to get evicted from their homes, for a year. I think they extended it till the end of this year. I'm not condoning that anyone do not pay their bills. Obviously, if you're making the money, you should pay your bills, because at the end of the day, it's not going to go away. They're probably just going to prolong it so you can pay for it later, but you're still going to have to pay for it at some point. So if you have the ability to pay for your bills, then pay for your bills. If you're able to eat and maintain your family and do everything you have to do, then do that. But if you're going through a super financial hardship that you can't, you should definitely talk to your landlord, talk to your mortgage bank, talk to whoever's in charge of collecting the rent or management, whoever they are, and they all have systems in place right now to help everyone, to put them in a better position and communicate. You don't want to become a squatter or a hoarder or one of these people that just live rent free, because it'll definitely go into your account. That they'll definitely consider that we're going through a pandemic, but it can definitely affect your credit in the future. So you want to put yourself in a position of communication. So as far as a priority, keeping a roof over your head is number one.
And sticking with those priorities, now that we've received a few stimulus checks, we're going to pull up a survey here conducted by Morning Consultant on how long citizens believe their stimulus checks will last them. When deciding how to spend that money, what are some factors residents should consider?
Again, saving as much as you can, unless you're already in a position where you have an idea or you already have a business that you're thinking about starting. This could be a good startup for anybody trying to venture off into their own businesses. So that's another thing that has been super, super, on the rise, especially in our firm, is opening up small businesses. So I guess a lot of people during the course of this pandemic realize that they can do what they do from home. They have other talents and skills that they can share with the world, and this pretty much put them in a position to start their own business. So you can save the money, you can pay down some bills, You can stock up on whatever you need to stock up, because we want to be optimistic. We want to know that the pandemic is almost over. But there's still people that are getting sick, so you still have to, be cautious. You still have to wear your mask. You still have to, pretty much try to limit yourself from being in contact with a lot of people. And hopefully this will be all over soon with the vaccinations and everyone taking care of themselves a lot better. But
Some great tips. Yeah, definitely.
mhm,
I'm over here taking notes too because I'm like, I need this.
yeah.
So for more information, how can residents get into contact with you?
So you have my Instagram page is at commissiontax.com. We're
Mhm.
also revamping our website right now, which will also be commissiontax.com. And then my phone number is 646-232-4085. So we're definitely willing and able to help as much people as we can. We work through appointments. We have about 16 members right now that are helping small businesses and people that are looking to file their tax returns. And we pretty much build relationships with all of our clients, and we want to know more about you. We want to know what you want to do with your future goals. Is it to start a business? Is it to buy a house? Is it to retire? Is it to get out of debt? So we're not just a tax preparation firm. Like we grow with our clients, and we want to take you to fulfill the real American dream. So you want to put yourself in a position to build relationships with people that want the best for you. And that comes around full circle. So that's why we get a lot of referrals and a lot of business, because we genuinely care for people's growth, and we want people to succeed. So
Awesome.
that's what we're about.
Thank you so much for your time, Jeffrey. Really appreciate it. That is all for our show today. I'm your host, Jericho Tran. Stay safe.